No miracle plays by the Titans. No miracle comebacks by the Bills. It was just your regular, everyday, Week 6, goal line stand, stop at the buzzer, win for the Titans. It was like it was expected. Back and forth. We'll show you the last back and the last forth in this one. It started with Derrick Henry, his third rushing touchdown. Finished with 20 carries, 143 yards, puts his team back up in front. Here we go the other way, 2:54 to go. Josh Allen, methodical. Down the field, Emmanuel Sanders, big chunky yardage right there, gets him out near midfield, 2:46 to go. Allen had 3 touchdown passes in this game. Back to pass here, 37 seconds ago, 3rd and 6. He's going to run for it. Last time he hurdled a guy, this time he just goes up into the fray, thinks he's got the first down. They look at it, and he did not make the first down line and then hits and goes out of bounds. So the clock's running. They got to call timeout, 4th and 1. Sean McDermott, we're going to go for it here. Instead of kicking the tying field goal, we're going to go for it. And Allen gets it, and you see he slips and gets stoned right there by the Tennessee defense. Look at it one more time. Just as he tucked it up, his feet went out from under. He was met there by a bunch of blue jerseys on the defensive line anyway. And the Titans, another fourth quarter comeback win. They outscore the Bills by 10 in the final quarter and win at 34-31. The Titans trailed by 7. Do your research here, shall you, people? This marks Tennessee's 13th fourth quarter comeback under Mike Vrabel, the most of any team in the league over that span, talking the last 2 seasons. Derrick Henry hitting the groove as always, rushing for better than 100 yards, 3 scores in each of his last 2 games. He's the first player to hit those numbers in consecutive games since Hall of Famer LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006. And it wouldn't be an offensive shootout without a solid performance on both sidelines. In his 50th NFL game, Josh Allen recorded his 80th career passing touchdown, being the first player ever, 80 passing touchdowns, 25 rushing TDs through 50 games. That stat would mean more to him if, in fact, he had won.
All right, John, thank you. Had to give Brian and Lou about 5 minutes to catch their breath. I'm not sure if it was enough. That was quite the finish. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Lou, I want to start with you. Brian made his thoughts pretty clear in the final seconds. That was not a controversial call on 4th down. In Brian's words, put it in the hands of your players. Trust your offense. What did you make of the McDermott call?
Look, I understand why. Look, Josh Allen has had some great success as far as quarterback sneaks are concerned so far this year. I mean, he's ripped off big runs out in the field in those kind of similar situations, obviously not in game-winning situations. Me, look, my first intuition looking at it right there, I thought maybe he was just going to kick the field goal, play for overtime. Look, obviously you would want to get the ball back because neither team was stopping each other. But, look, we talked about this in the break a little bit about the fact that, look, the Titans weren't really being stopped by Buffalo's defense at this point in the game either. So, look, I probably would have kicked the field goal and been more conservative.
Sounds like you're waffling.
That's the way it is. No, I'm not. I would have kicked it. I would have kicked it and played for overtime. But
the fact is, Tennessee scored 6 times in a row to end the game.
Yeah.
4 of those were touchdowns, guys. So then you go back to flipping a coin at the 50-yard line and putting it in. I like putting the ball in my best player's hands rather than depending on a coin flip.
So, Brian, I want to ask you this. I think the headline tomorrow will be that play, that decision. Tons of people will talk about Derrick Henry, at least to talk to him after the game. But an underrated fact for this win for Tennessee was the emergence of A.J. Brown. Both he and Julio had some hamstring injuries. A.J. was completely shut out in the first half, exploded in the second. Tannehill seemed to find a connection after the first month or so where they really couldn't find each other, injuries aside. What did you see that allowed him to unlock what he did tonight?
You got to remember, Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator here a year ago. Now he's the head coach in Atlanta. You got Todd Downing, who was the tight end coach, is now taken over. And they have a new piece in Julio Jones, and they're trying to figure that out. They lost Jonnu Smith, and they're working with Anthony Firkser. They're trying to find out their identity, and we know it's going to start with Derrick Henry. And once you get Derrick Henry going, as the game goes on, play action has more sting. And we tried to diagram it a couple of times. When they got him going, all of a sudden the linebackers, Milano, Trey Evans, started to come up, and that's when you start to get A.J. Brown behind. And he's the best in football at coming across the middle at that size, 220 pounds, and his talent to run after the catch. It's a great combination, the run and play action.
And last thing for both of you, it's just so fitting that another wacky week in the NFL ends on a strange, I would say an oddity. I think it's fair to say it's The Titans the last couple of years, their defense, not particularly solid. Strange for a Mike Vrabel coach team. Lou, let's start with you. The fact that a team that's been so maligned on defense the last couple of years comes up with maybe the biggest play of their season on either side of the ball, and they do it on defense.
Yeah, look, Jeffrey Simmons is a very, very explosive defensive tackle, maybe one of the most explosive individuals in the NFL. Doesn't get a lot of the attention like a guy like Aaron Donald does, but you saw what he did to Deion Dawkins on that quarterback sneak. He took Deion Dawkins, a 300-plus pound offensive tackle, and put him on his back. So they have good individual players. They have some great individual players. Kevin Byard showed up big tonight as well on the defensive side of the ball. And Mike Vrabel was coached by the very best at the highest level in the NFL in Bill Belichick. He knows how to get these guys ready in big spots, how to play good situational football. Goal line football is a situational football type of situation, and that's where you know that Jeffrey Simmons was aware of the fact that where does Josh Allen like to sneak the ball? To his left. He got off the snap. Deion Dawkins didn't. Case closed.
It's interesting to see where this team goes from now, Zubin. They're now 4-2, and Indianapolis obviously is right there with them in that AFC South. But a lot of people were saying this team was broke, and all of a sudden now they had a lot of injuries on defense, and they have to continue to get better. But if they get a little bit healthy defensively and they find this rhythm, this balance on offense, this is going to be a team to contend with the rest of the season.
Brian, that's a great point. Just make sure you see the internet headlines the morning after they lost to the Jets and what everybody was saying about this team and where they are right now. Week 6 has come to an end. Week 7 begins on a Thursday night in Cleveland with whoever is healthy for the Browns. And the fellas will be back next Monday night in Seattle. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Now let's take a look at what Brian said. Hey, despite it all, they are division leaders, a fitting battle of division leaders. Both Buffalo and Tennessee hold 2-game leads in the division, so we could certainly see these teams face off again come playoff time. Buffalo now headed to a bye week. They'll have the Dolphins coming out of it, while the Titans get set to host Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
I think KC's wishing he was working the 11 right about now. More people at the mic from the Music City. We're not talking karaoke. Live postgame from Nashville. And Ryan Clark here in studio on the Monday Night Matchup.
Thanks for watching Monday Night Postgame. Presented by Abbott. Life to the fullest.